All right, so in this example, we're going to be exposed to a new type of formula, and that is what if we take our u, or just whatever our angle is, and we divide it by 2. So the sine of our angle divided by 2. Well, here are the formulas right here, and they are plus or minus. And the reason why it's plus or minus is that it depends on what quadrant we're in. So if it's a sine value that's in quadrant number 2 or 3, then we know that it's going to be a negative value. So that means we would use the negative cosine. If we're in the cosine right here, then if we're in quadrants 2 or 3 again, and that's also going to be negative as well. So you just got to just see what quadrant we're in, and that's what it says right here, that the sine of u over 2 and cosine of u over 2 depending on the quadrant in which u over 2 lies. So let's see what's going on right here. Find the exact value of 105. Okay. Now, that's not our u, or at least that's not u divided by 2. See, I'm sorry. Cosine of sine of 105 is our u over 2. But what was our u then? Okay, our u was 210, because I have to double this. Let me explain that again. We're trying to find the sine of 105, so that would replace this right here. Okay, well, if 105 is u over 2, then that means u, if I multiply both sides by 2, okay, then u must be 210 degrees. So that's what I mean by when I plug this in for u, I'm not going to plug in 105. I have to double that. It's going to be 210. Okay? So let's go ahead and find the sine of 105 degrees. And let's think about this. Sine of 105 degrees, what quadrant are we in? Well, this right here is 90 degrees, right? And this is 180, so we're going to be somewhere in this ballpark. And if you look at the sine right here, that's going to be a negative value and then a positive value. So since we're in the second quadrant, the sine value would be positive. So that's why my formula, I'm going to use the positive radical, okay? So I'm going to say this is equal to the positive radical of 1 minus cosine of 210 degrees all over 2. All right? So just a little bit of simplifying here. Not too bad. Cosine of 210 degrees, okay, is going to be radical. Let's see. Yes, that's going to be a negative radical 3 over 2. Okay, cosine of 210 degrees, and that's all over 2. And hold on quick. This radical needs to go all the way down to show that everything is under the radical. Okay. Good. So let's just simplify the top right here. Okay. This right here means 1 plus radical 3 over 2, right? And this is all over 2, one big square root. Okay, I kind of wrote a little nicer here so you can see that. So if I want to combine terms in the numerator right here, I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 2. So I'll get 2 plus radical 3 all over 2. So that's the numerator, all over 2 right there. And this all has one big radical. Okay. Well, if these are both 2 right here, then all I got to do is just multiply them. Okay. So do it a little bit here. So if I multiply these two guys right here, that just now becomes 2 plus radical 3 all over 4. And we can do one more step of simplifying. I can take the radical 4 now. Radical 4 is 2, so that means I can just write it as 2 on the bottom, but the numerator still has the square root of 2 plus radical 3. So this right here would be our final answer.